What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So right now there's a lot of new discussions on additional stimulus. Democrats say we can't give in to the moderates, that we need more help. We need to actually provide for the American people. We need to live up to the promises that we made. Right now, a lot of people are discussing new stimulus, but it's not the stimulus checks that we've been known to love. It's not that. It's additional stimulus, other checks, other forms of payment or assistance. That's what's being discussed. So right now, if you keep on seeing these reports that a new stimulus check is coming out, there are checks being considered and discussed, but it's not going to go to every single American. I just want to warn you on that, because right now, what I'm seeing across YouTube, Facebook, definitely, TikTok for sure. But we're seeing a lot of people are now spreading these rumors that, hey, a fourth stimulus check is just right around the corner. And there is a check coming, but it's for seniors. Now, I want to address all this stuff in today's video because I know a lot of people are waiting. Hey, when are we going to get that additional stimulus check? Well, only certain people will. So I want to address who's going to get what checks, what we are potentially seeing for the everyday person, how low-income households could potentially get even more benefits. And so again, all this is really good news that we're getting more discussions on additional stimulus and more assistance. So I want to address that right now. First, I just want to thank you guys for watching and always hitting that like button. It really does help out the channel, and it just lets me know, okay, you guys really want to see content on this specific topic. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, please do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, and also consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you up to date on everything that is going on. So here's what we know. Democrats are not completely satisfied with the framework that President Biden laid out this past week. Many say they need to see more help to the American people. Several Democratic lawmakers have stressed the fact that they made promises over certain provisions, certain pieces of legislation that were ultimately cut or significantly reduced simply to appease Senator Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Now, keep in mind that when lawmakers, again, when they talk about stimulus or additional assistance or checks to the American people, they are not specifically referring to those stimulus checks. They're talking about child tax credit payments, rental assistance, nutrition assistance, and things like that. So just keep that in mind. Now, one thing I just want to address, okay? When somebody says we need to increase the stimulus in the economy, what they're referring to is, again, not a stimulus check, but making sure there's more money being spread out to different groups. This is one of the reasons why Democrats do not want to raise taxes on lower income households, because if you raise taxes on the lower income households that are currently struggling, it means they have even less money to go and distribute throughout the economy. So when they talk about additional stimulus, here's what they're talking about. First, how likely is it that the child tax credit payments are going to be extended when we see another bill? How likely is this going to happen? We already know from John Yarmouth, he says that we are already discussing the next budget reconciliation sometime in 2022. And the expectation is another year will be added on to the child tax credit payments in 2022. But some question, why don't we just do it now, make this a guarantee so we don't have to have this discussion in another year? Some say that the reason why lawmakers don't want to include it now is because as soon as we raise that amount from 1.75 up to closer to $2 trillion, well, moderates are going to come back and say, well, you got to get rid of something else. And right now, even Senator Bernie Sanders says, what do we cut? How do we make cuts? How do we tell somebody on Medicare, you're not as important as somebody with a child? How do we tell parents that no, child care is not as important as community college? How do we do that? He says right now he has no idea. Could we see additional rental assistance? The answer is yes. There is more stimulus for renters. And here's what I mean. Right now in the current framework of this bill, there is $25 billion for additional rental assistance in that $150 billion for affordable housing. But here's what a lot of people are asking. Why can't we get more? And I actually addressed this morning, is that some are saying $150 billion for rental or for affordable housing is not enough. They say $25 billion for rental assistance is not enough. Maybe we can increase it to $50 billion, but at the same time, make it easier for the average person to come in and get rental assistance. Maybe it's for 12 months, maybe it's for 6 months of rent, or maybe it's just for 1 to 2 months, but make it easier. Because right now, some people are having a very difficult time because, well, they just make a little bit over the income threshold, or they don't qualify for specific reasons. So that's turning into a big issue. Is we're still going to see many people being homeless or being forced into homelessness because they just don't meet that requirement, because it's just a little bit too high, according to many experts. But again, this is part of the discussions. Can we get additional rental assistance? Rental assistance right now is considered one of the bigger things that would pass because it would go to anybody. No matter your age, it would go to you. As long as you were renting and you were behind on rent, you could get these payments. Another form of stimulus, and this is actually a big one. This is something that a lot of people have said it's not big enough, but it's good because we're having those discussions. What we know right now is there's an $800 stimulus debit card that is still being considered to be added into this framework. But again, it all depends on the language. This $800, it's for seniors only. Seniors would receive this because this $800 is to help them pay for things like dental and vision, because right now Medicare is only going to be expanded as it sits currently for hearing. But again, if you want to go to the dentist and get dentures, $800 is not going to be enough. You want to go to the dentist and get a teeth cleaning? Well, $800. It's not going to last you very long. You want to go get your teeth whitened? You want to get a filling? Well, or a crown? Good luck. $800 isn't going to get you very far. You want to go get new glasses? Maybe you need reading glasses and driving glasses, right? You need that? Well, again, $800. It's going to get you right about there. You're going to struggle at some places to pay for glasses with just $800. But again, $800 is something. It is going to help. It's not even $100 a month, but it is going to help. Here's the other thing we don't know. Are these going to be $800 per year, or is it a one-time payment of $800? That's something we don't know. We have not heard that yet. We do not know if that is part of the discussions at this time. Is it 1 year, or is it going to be recurring? Because a lot of other provisions are going to go for the child tax credits 1 year. But as far as child care and those things, those are going to go for 6 years, right? Pre-K, that's going to go for 6 years. It's funded for 6 years. So we don't know how long this is going to last for, or if this going to be ultimately cut. But while we're talking about childcare, here's the other thing. Lawmakers are discussing stimulus because right now, in the way the bill is written, or the way it's being discussed, is low income or medium income households. You will not pay more than 7% of your income towards childcare. But here's the question, and lawmakers want to know this. Are we going to cap it at 7%? So once a family pays 7% of their income, which again would be pretty difficult to do, is determine, hey, how much is 7% of your income? You pay 7% of your income to that daycare, and then the government comes in and pays the rest? Right? Is that how it's going to work? Or will you pay, the regular amount, and at the end of the year, the government and the IRS is going to determine, okay, this is how much you made. You paid for childcare. Well, you cannot pay more than 7%, so you paid in excess of, let's say, $2,500 for the year. So we're going to give you a credit of $2,500. Is this how it's going to work? Well, some question this idea and say that they worry that this credit could actually hinder parents from going back to work, because in the meantime, it's still more expensive. How do we go about doing this? How do we deal with this? This is one of those situations and one of those policies that's going to be very difficult to really perfect, because for certain people, they need that money now. Others may request it at the end of the year. So again, are we going to see this? Or how is this going to turn out? So this is one of the bigger things of additional stimulus we may see. We also know a small group of House Democrats want to include a few months worth of unemployment benefits. These are the extended unemployment benefits that the federal government provided months ago. What we are seeing right now is they want to include the $300 per week unemployment boost to all people on unemployment benefits. But the goal of this is to help provide families with some form of guaranteed income over the winter months. They do not want, and lawmakers don't want people to go hungry. They don't want them to be kicked out of their homes. They definitely don't want their utilities to shut off when we could potentially see a major freeze. So again, these are all things that are being considered. But even though some Democrats believe that we will have to deal with the human infrastructure bill, and we're going to have to, maybe vote on it this week, the expectation is that right now there needs to be more for the American people, and lawmakers, mainly Democrats, are going to push for that. Right now, according to reports, Democrats are going to vote no. There's too many no's in the House and some in the Senate that are going to cause this bill to fail in both the House and the Senate. AOC, Representative Cori Bush, and many other House Democrats say that there has been too many cuts to accept the bill as it stands right now. So they say expect changes. But again, as to what kind of changes we're going to see, honestly, I don't know. They just say expect changes. And according to some experts, more will be added back into this bill to make it acceptable for the American people. Because right now, many polls have already stated that according to their studies, their findings, that the American people would vote no to this bill because too much has been pulled out. And Democrats are saying that we cannot afford to be labeled as liars right before an election. And I just want to warn you that these are the talks, is how do we make sure that we fulfilled our promises to the American people and our constituents? How do we do that? Because we can't be labeled as a liar before an election. Right now, coming into an election, this is the problem. And we're still like a year away, but still, coming into an election or election year, this is the problem. Lawmakers are going to look at the election. They're going to look at their polling numbers. That's what they're going to look at. And when it comes to passing bills, they're going to try to pass more popular pieces of legislation to ensure that they get voted back in or they win a seat. So again, this is the problem. Is it's going to come down to, well, we need that, but we didn't promise that. We promised these other pieces of legislation that we have to pass because, well, we don't want to be labeled as a liar at this time. So that's what we know right now. But again, I just want to thank you guys for watching. This is the problem with stimulus, is right now, some are saying we need more, others say we need less. Some say, let's worry about climate change. The American people say, hey, worry about us. But then you got Democrats that are more worried about illegal immigrants than the American people at this time. So again, we're divided all over the place. But one thing I can tell you is I will promise I will keep bringing you the news. Whether it's good news or bad news, I will bring it to you to make sure that you understand where we're currently at and what to expect moving forward. So again, thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.